Okay, this is the south side entrance of the park. To the left, you can see a little bit of fencing. You can see the creek. To the right, more fencing in the creek. It's going to actually have to be fenced off. So we would have our gate potentially either inside this partial circle, and people would line up down these sidewalks, or we can bring the gate to the actual walkway, but I kind of like the other idea instead. This is the lovely little creek, which can do absolutely nothing for us. Can't use any of that space. It'll all be blocked off. However, here we're coming up to the opening up of the park, and cooking can be done on this gravel path. So potentially we could put a food booth with its back to the water if they're going to cook on that gravel. And over here to the left, same thing. There's a path that goes around the outside of the park. This area here is the former playground. It could be a perfect place for us to hold children's activities. It is all filled in with gravel, so not a super flat surface, but certainly doable, and pretty good space, I think, for corralling kids. So there might be some ideas involved with that. Now we're at the center of the park. There's some flags. Maybe I can even get them to fly some Canadian flags that day. On the left-hand side, or the west side, is the west entrance. This would be where we would have our information booth, our first aid. We're not going to have first aid. What am I saying? I'm going to avoid that lawsuit right there. Over to the left of that gate will be where the porta-johns are. They're usually further down at the end of this row here. And then if we look to the north, there's where the band shell is, and this corner right in here is where we would put the special VIP tent, and that would be about a 30 by 60 area. Outside this gate is a consideration to close off this section of the road where that car just turned on, so that we can have all of this space for parking. That does mean more money, more expenses. Again, here's the alleyway. Final Gravity is right there beside Stars. And then to our left, or to our right here, to the north of that, that would be where we would put the garbage bin and the private or semi-private bathrooms for the VIP tent. So let's take a little walk up. Here's some gravel, so there could be potentially, even though this is a pathway, here could be seating for people on the grass. And here is the band shell. Let's take a walk up there. In the center is a fountain, but that is probably where the sound is going to go. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to walk all the way up. It's going to take a couple minutes. Right now, a lot of homeless people make their home here. So this area would be obviously policed, fenced off, and we have to have our security to take care of everything that's inside of it. We have booked the Friday evening for setup. We would probably have our park, our specialty, it might even be able to be parked right in here. I'll have to find out from Deb Droppers. Back here, this will all be closed off, and this will be fenced. This would be the space where we would put tents for the bands. There's the back of the band shell. Nothing fancy. And we're coming around the corner of the band shell. This is to the stage. So there's the back side. Over here, we could potentially, with the gravel, maybe if people have to cook, they can do it there. or else this is going to be seating for people. That gate over there is going to be closed off, and that's so that people can get in here. We can put tents on this pathway here so that we can get people in, and that would be an access point. This area too is open. I'm going to walk this with Deb droppers. Here is the gravel that she was talking about along the edge of this space. So we could have food vendors here if they're going to be cooking, because anywhere there's gravel is where we can actually have the cooking happening. And this street over here is Edward Street. It can be closed off. Again, it's probably another $1,000 to do that. I don't know that this year really warrants it, but the point being that this could potentially be where we could put more food vendors when we have enough of them, and then we could put a big food tent, and then we would gain a lot more of this space for people instead of food tents. So over here to the south of the cobblestone, I don't want to call it a dance floor, because it's not a dance floor, is the covered place where we normally would put the beer, and this would be hospitality area. We would park the Imperial ice truck probably to the south of this space, and there is another access point back here which people can drive up on to get supplies up in here. So this area would all be fenced off and available. This is where I would also put the non-alcoholic tent for water, soda, and tea. In here, potentially, we could have people, a couple of 10 by 10s, and backed up onto here to maybe have the art booths. So that would be like, we'd be able to do 1, maybe 2 here, 4, 6 is potential. It does have a break with the hedges here, so this might be a good place for that. And then on the other side of that is where the flagpoles are, so we're back to the center of the park. And there's some benches which I think are movable, which we might or might not. We probably will, because it'll take up a lot of space. And we'll see what else we can fit through here. I'm going to walk it with Deb and lay out the park outline soon.